This tactic will save you even when flying high in top tier. Hello guys, once again, thank you all the members, all the patrons, make sure to subscribe and let's go. So today I want to present to you a tactic that a lot of people already use, but I wanted to do a quick video talking specifically how to stay alive against radar missiles. It doesn't matter if you're flying high, flying low, if you do this, you will evade most missiles. Just a small disclaimer, be careful with the MatAWG, okay? And even with the Phoenix, because these two missiles, they do have an inertial navigation system, meaning that even if they lose you with the return of radiation coming from you, which this tactic will make you have done to them, they still have an INS which receives data from a data link from the mothership aircraft, letting them where you are, okay? So for the Phoenix and the R-27, you have to be extra careful. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work for those, but it is a little bit harder, and the missile will get a lot closer to you if you're not careful, okay? So let's get to a match. We're going to basically show to you guys how it works in a match, and then in a replay, and then how it is when you are shooting the missile and somebody is actually doing that, okay? So let's get going. So here we are in the match. We are climbing out, we are flying high. I decided to show to you guys while flying high because then you don't have the ground to actually protect you, right? But anyway, we are trying to find a target to shoot. As you see, my radar is having some troubles, and as you see, an F-15 just launched a missile. I launched a missile as well, but the thing is that I just decided to show to you guys how to do it. So basically what you want to do is put a 90-degree turn to the left or to the right, making sure on the RWR that the target is at least on a 90-degree side look from you. If you do that, he loses the lock. It was even more than 90 degrees, but as you see, he lost the lock. And of course, I deployed a little bit of chaff, since chaff is really strong right now. If you put the chaff between you and the target, you know, it really works well. So yeah, even him had to actually do that to actually evade the missile. Again, a shot from the front. I don't know if it was targeting me or not, because there was a lot of friendlies nearby, but I still decided to go and do the same. So basically I turn to the left or to the right, it doesn't matter, and try to put on the RWR the firing aircraft on a perpendicular position, so a 90-degree position there. If you do that, drop some chaff, you will basically make either the radar lose the lock or make the missile basically becomes blind to you, or you will be invisible to the missile. So let's get to the replay to show how this works in the game. So here we are. As you see, the radars are searching for targets here and there. As you see, there are two targets that are, at least one actually, that it's basically looking at me, and there is another one that locked onto me. So I'm gonna just remove that hold up, just to make sure that we don't get blinded by the sensors, right? But basically this F-15 over here is aiming onto me, right? So yeah, an AIM-54 was shot, as you see, and an AIM-7M as well. And as you see, the seeker of the AIM-7 is already tracking me. It's already onto me and tracking me. So I have to be careful. I don't know if it was on to me actually. It might be on one of the friendly aircraft, but it doesn't matter. The RWR was telling me that something was being fired onto me, and I don't want to basically have that as a threat to myself, right? So there's a lot of missiles as well. The worst tactic ever this F-14 is doing, shooting all these missiles at once. The F-15 actually cranked to the left there, to his left, right? And the AIM-7 is still coming towards me. It's me or the other target, but it's probably me, right? So as you see, I'm just making sure I'm perpendicular to the target while dropping some chaff. This will make the missile basically lose me. And as you see, the missile is coming, right? It is coming. But he lost a lock at this point. He doesn't have a lock onto me anymore. and the missile is just on a search pattern, as you see. So he just lost the lock, and the missile is basically trying to reacquire a lock if the target ever, you know, reacquires a lock onto me, basically, right? This tactic will make you actually basically make any missile miss you. As I said, R27s are a little bit harder to avoid it, but still. And as you see, Super 530, I mean, if I knew it was a Super 530F, I didn't even had to do anything. But yeah, as you see, it is locking onto me, tracking me, and yeah, it's coming, but the missile will not have the energy. But still, at the same time, I'm just making sure that I have enough of a gap, angular gap over here of a perpendicular position. As you see, I'm maintaining a 90-degree position here while dropping a little bit of chaff. And this is making the missile lose the target. Of course, it's going for the chaff that I'm dropping. As you see, it is already tracking the chaff itself and not the aircraft, and now it lost the proper lock. So it is perfect to actually basically lose any missile that it's on to you. Any missile. It's really, really easy. If you go cold, if you basically turn around, you can also avoid it. But again, be careful with the R27s and the M54s, okay? So let's get a closer look on how it is when you are shooting a missile and somebody does that. So here we are. So a position where I didn't need to do this notch, which is called this maneuver, and the actual target did the notching. So I fired a missile, I cranked a little bit to the left just to maintain a good far away position from the enemy. If he ever launched a missile, he would basically lose a lot of energy. So I'm just cranking a little bit, but then he turns. As you see on the radar, see the radar trying to go from tracking to tracking pulse Doppler, and then it goes to tracking once, and then he drops a chaff and he locks onto the chaff, and I lose the lock. That's how it is, you know. It's very easy to lose a lock, and it basically means you lose the missile. Again, the R27 and the M54, they can reacquire the lock very easily because it has a data link and an INS. But the point is that the Sparrow, the normal missiles, will be very easily defeated by this. Again, the R27, you have to be a little bit more careful. Try to get a little bit more distance. Unless you are flying the MiG-29 SMT and maybe the AK-141, you basically can just, if you already fired a missile, forget about the missile, go cold, and try to chaff and basically stay alive, right? Again, this is a kind of a pushing to the limit kind of situation because we are flying really high, so we don't have any type of other countermeasure kind of situation that can be happening here. It's just like notching and dropping chaff, and that's basically it, right? And the missile, again, I mean, look at this Sparrow. I mean, it wasn't really tracking at first, but once the target just went cold, the missile just got even more blinded by the position that it was. So yeah, guys, basically this is it. It's a very easy tactic that everybody should know how to do it to you actually learn how to avoid any radar missiles. Just be careful when you are really close to a target because you won't have the time to actually do this fast enough, okay? But yeah, basically this is it. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if you already use this tactic to actually stay alive in top tier. See ya, guys. Bye. Subscribe.